everyone, and welcome back to Everyday English with Johnny. I'm your host, Johnny, and I'm thrilled to be joined by my awesome co-host, Rose. How's it going, Rose?
Hey, Johnny. Hey, listeners. I'm doing great and super pumped for today's episode. We're diving into a topic that so many English learners struggle with: how to speak English without pausing too much. If you've ever felt stuck mid-sentence, this one's for you.
That's right. Pausing and hesitating while speaking is a common hurdle. Maybe you're searching for the right word, worrying about grammar, or translating from your native language. It can make your speech feel choppy and less natural.
Exactly. Speaking smoothly and confidently is a huge goal for learners. But don't worry. In this episode, we're sharing practical tips, exercises, and mindset shifts to help you reduce those awkward pauses and speak English like a pro.
So, if you've ever been frustrated because your words don't flow fast enough or you keep stopping mid-conversation, stick with us. By the end, you'll have powerful strategies to think quicker, speak smoother, and sound more confident. Let's get started. Before we jump into solutions, let's figure out why pausing happens. Rose, what are some common reasons English learners hesitate so much when speaking?
Great question, Johnny. The first big reason is lack of confidence. Many learners doubt their English skills and worry about making mistakes, so they hesitate, thinking, is this the right word? Am I saying this correctly? That self-doubt slows them down.
So true. It's like their brain hits the brakes, second-guessing every word. Instead of speaking naturally, they're stuck in this loop of fear, and by the time they decide to talk, the conversation's already moved on.
Exactly. Another major cause is vocabulary gaps. When learners don't know the exact word they need, they freeze, trying to find it or think of a substitute. That creates those long, awkward pauses that break the flow.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. If your vocabulary's limited, your brain's working overtime to find words, and that extra effort leads to hesitation. It shows how crucial building a strong word bank is. We'll share tips for that soon.
Another culprit is overthinking, especially translating from the native language. Learners often form sentences in their native language first, then try to translate them into English. But since languages have different structures, this process is slow and causes pauses.
Overthinking is a fluency killer. Trying to craft perfect sentences or translate word for word is like running a marathon with weights on. Fluency isn't about perfection, it's about flow and keeping the conversation going.
And let's not forget nervousness. When learners feel pressured, especially in conversations with native speakers, they get anxious, freeze, and forget even the words they know. It's like their brain goes blank under stress.
I see that all the time. Pressure can make even confident speakers stumble. That's why building confidence is key, and we've got some great exercises for that coming up.
Let's recap the four main reasons for pausing. 1. Lack of confidence and fear of mistakes. 2. Vocabulary gaps. 3. Overthinking and translating. 4. Nervousness under pressure.
Now that we know what's causing those pauses, it's time to fix them. Let's dive into the good stuff. Techniques to speak fluently without hesitation.
All right, Johnny, let's get to the practical stuff. What's the first technique to help learners reduce pauses and speak more smoothly?
One of the best ways is to think in English instead of translating. Translating from your native language forces your brain to do double the work, forming a sentence in one language, then converting it to English. That's a recipe for pauses.
Absolutely. It's a game changer. A simple way to practice thinking in English is to describe your surroundings in real time. For example, if you're outside, think, the sky is blue. A bird is flying. I'm walking on the sidewalk. This trains your brain to process thoughts directly in English.
Love that. Another great technique is using filler words. Some learners think fillers are a no-no, but native speakers use them all the time to keep conversations flowing. Words like well, you know, so, or I mean, give your brain a moment to think without an awkward silence.
Such a good point. Instead of pausing completely, you can say, well, I think it's a great idea. Or, I really enjoyed that book. Fillers are like a bridge to keep the conversation moving smoothly.
Technique 3, shadowing. This is where you listen to a native speaker, say on a podcast or YouTube video, and repeat what they say immediately, like an echo. It forces you to speak quickly and mimics natural speech patterns.
Shadowing is fantastic because it trains you to keep up with the speaker's speed and rhythm. You can pause a video after each sentence and repeat it, copying their tone and pronunciation. Over time, your brain gets used to speaking without hesitation.
And our final technique, don't aim for perfection. Many learners pause because they're terrified of making mistakes. But in real conversations, mistakes are no big deal. If you can't think of a word, describe it instead of stopping.
For example, if you forget the word refrigerator, say, the thing that keeps food cold. The goal is to keep talking and communicate your idea, not to sound like a dictionary.
Let's recap these 4 techniques. 1. Think in English, not your native language. 2. Use filler words to maintain flow. 3. Practice shadowing to mimic native speakers. And 4. Don't aim for perfection. Keep talking even with mistakes.
These are powerful tools to reduce pauses. Now, let's take it a step further and talk about how to train your brain for faster, more fluent speech.
Okay, we've got techniques to reduce pauses, but how do we train our brains to think and respond faster in English? Rose, what's the first step?
The first step is expanding your vocabulary and learning sentence patterns. If you don't have enough words or common phrases in your mental toolbox, your brain will struggle to find the right ones, leading to pauses.
So true. Instead of memorizing single words, learn full phrases. For example, don't just learn agree, learn I totally agree or I see your point. That way, when you need to respond, the phrase pops out automatically.
Exactly. Another great method is active listening. The more you listen to English through podcasts, audiobooks, or conversations, the faster your brain processes words and sentence structures. Try to predict what the speaker will say next to stay engaged.
I love that. A fun twist on this is conversation anticipation. While listening to someone speak, guess their next word or phrase before they say it. It's like a mental workout that trains your brain to think ahead and respond quicker.
Such a cool exercise. Another powerful technique is imitating native speakers. Pick a speaker you like, maybe from a TV show, podcast, or YouTube, and mimic their speed, rhythm, and pronunciation. It's like stepping into their shoes to learn how they talk.
Imitation is a shortcut to fluency. The more you expose yourself to natural English, the faster your brain processes and produces it. It's like downloading native speech patterns into your mind.
Let's summarize these 4 brain training strategies. 1. Learn phrases, not just single words. 2. Practice active listening and predict what's next. 3. Use conversation anticipation to think ahead. 4. Imitate native speakers to match their speed and style.
These strategies will supercharge your ability to think and speak faster. Next, let's talk about practical exercises to put this into action.
Now that we've trained our brains, let's talk about hands-on exercises to boost fluency and reduce pauses. Johnny, what's the first exercise?
One of my favorites is the 1-minute speaking challenge. Pick a topic and speak about it for a full minute without stopping. Even if you make mistakes or stumble, keep going. It's all about building stamina and fluency.
That's such a great one. Start with simple topics like my favorite movie or what I did today. If a minute feels tough, begin with 30 seconds and work your way up. The key is to keep talking, no matter what.
Exercise 2, story retelling. Listen to a short story, podcast episode, or movie scene, then retell it in your own words. This forces you to think in English, recall vocabulary, and form complete sentences on the spot.
I love this because it mimics real-life conversations where you need to summarize or explain something. Plus, it's fun to retell a story you enjoy, like a funny moment from a show.
Exercise 3, speed conversation practice. Set a timer for 2 minutes and have a rapid fire conversation with a friend or yourself in the mirror. Respond quickly without overthinking. Speed is the goal.
And if you don't have a partner, no problem. Use a speech-to-text app on your phone, speak for 2 minutes, and see how accurately it transcribes your words. It's a great way to check your fluency and pronunciation.
Exercise 4, describe and move on. Practice speaking about random objects or situations for 20 seconds each, then switch to a new topic. For example, describe your phone, then your desk, then the weather. This trains you to think fast and keep the flow going.
That's a fantastic way to simulate real conversations where topics change quickly. Let's recap these exercises. 1. 1-minute speaking challenge. 2. Story retelling in your own words. 3. Speed conversation practice. 4. Describe and move on for quick thinking.
These exercises are like a gym workout for your speaking skills. Practice them regularly, and you'll notice fewer pauses and more confidence.
Fluency isn't just about techniques and exercises. It's also about mindset. Many learners pause because they lack confidence. Johnny, what's the first mindset shift to help with this?
The biggest one is accepting that mistakes are part of learning. Learners often pause because they're terrified of saying something wrong, but even native speakers make mistakes. Instead of thinking, what if I mess up, think, every mistake helps me grow.
So true. Mistakes are like stepping stones to fluency. They're proof you're trying. Another mindset shift, focus on communication, not perfection. The goal of speaking is to share your ideas, not to sound like a grammar textbook. If people understand you, you're succeeding.
Absolutely. And here's a big one. Speak with confidence even if you're not 100% sure. Hesitation or self-doubt can make you pause, but if you speak with energy and a smile, people will focus on your message, not your small errors.
Confidence is contagious. When you speak boldly, it draws people in. One more mindset tip, celebrate small wins. Every time you speak without a pause or use a new phrase, give yourself a mental high five. It builds momentum.
Let's recap these mindset shifts. 1. Accept mistakes as part of learning. 2. Focus on communication, not perfection. 3. Speak with confidence and energy. 4. Celebrate small wins to stay motivated.
These mindset shifts will transform how you approach speaking, making it easier to talk without hesitation.
Wow, Rose, we've packed so much into this episode. Let's do a quick recap of everything we've covered.
First, we talked about why learners pause. Lack of confidence, vocabulary gaps, overthinking or translating, and nervousness.
Then we share techniques to reduce pauses, like thinking in English, using filler words, shadowing, and letting go of perfection.
We also discussed how to train your brain for faster speech by learning phrases, active listening, conversation anticipation, and imitating native speakers. Plus, we gave practical exercises like the 1-minute speaking challenge, story retelling, speed conversations, and describe and move on.
And we wrapped up with mindset shifts, embracing mistakes, prioritizing communication, speaking confidently, and celebrating progress.
It's a complete roadmap to speaking without pausing.
So here's your challenge, listeners. Pick one technique or exercise from today and practice it this week. Maybe try the 1-minute speaking challenge or narrate your day in English. The more you practice, the smoother your speech will become.
And we want to hear from you. Drop a comment or message us on social media to share your biggest speaking challenge or how you're using these tips. We're cheering you on.
If you love this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to Everyday English with Johnny for more practical tips to boost your English fluency. Check out our social media for extra resources. Links are in the show notes.
Thanks for joining us today. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, you don't need to be perfect to be fluent. Just keep the words flowing. See you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Stay confident and talk on.
Bye for now.